So, I'd like to call this executive committee meeting for December the 8th, 2025 to order. First up, we'll start with the land acknowledgement. As we gather here today, we acknowledge we are on Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. We pay our respect to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this place and reaffirm our relationship with one another. Next up is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any mentions or changes to the agenda tonight?
There are no changes to the agenda this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Can I get a mover to accept the agenda as presented? Councillor Scott, thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Next up is conflict of interest. Is there any conflict of interest tonight's agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Delegations, no delegations. Next is correspondence, no correspondence. Okay, we have reports from administration. First one is up from the Director of Protective Services. Can I get a mover that this report be accepted for information and file? Councillor Rowe, thank you. Go ahead, Mike, the floor is yours.
All right. My reports before you for the month of November. Fire department had 8 responses within the city and 1 response outside the city, so a pretty slow month. We also had 2 practices during that month. Again, noted that the fire inspections have not resumed yet. I've got 3 individuals that are about 3/4 of their way through the fire inspection process of getting their certification. So we will be starting that fairly soon. On the safety side, nothing really spectacular on that. We did 4 orientations with new City of Humboldt employees and was doing some revision on the orientation PowerPoint, as well as public safety policy. We've been working on one of those that will be coming to council shortly. First aid research certification, as well as doing some site orientations with employees and contractors and site visits as well. The one report that I'm adding, I think I added last month as well, is the planning and development report. So if there's any changes you'd like to see, please feel free. But it just basically outlines what's going on within the city and what's been happening on the building side. So in November, we did issue 3 permits, 1 detached garage, 1 coverall, and 1 shipping container move-in. There was 15 inspections that were performed. And some of the projects that the planning is working on is the South 40 structure plan, the South 40 development, still the 101st Street subdivision and the Caleb subdivision. There was $2,470 brought in permit fees. And then on the last page is the building permit statistics. So it shows a kind of a snapshot of where we are this year compared to last year, and kind of some of the numbers that were brought in. Being that we only had 3 permits this year. In November, we did have 5 last year, but we're up 91 permits this year as well as compared to 75 permits last year. So it kind of just gives you a year-to-year snapshot of how the building department has been increasing or decreasing. Next, we have the CSO. So November had a lot of property maintenance orders conclude, and there'll be a couple of them that will reopen in the spring. There was 39 calls for service through phone, email, and city reporter, and 8 new files created for 1 referral to alternate measures, as well as 1 referral to RCMP where charges were laid. In addition to that, CSOA Health spent 4 days in Lanigan, 4 days in Watson, and also 4 days here in Humboldt, where he added 19 property visits and 17 bylaw warnings. There were also 19 traffic concerns addressed, 2 complaints made about 2-hour parking. Tires were chalked, and the issue will be monitored going forward. During the month of November, there was also approximately 16 traffic stops completed, resulting in 5 summary offense tickets and 5 bylaw tickets. There were 27 properties visited in November, also checking on orders and door knockers, and several of these properties will be again revisited once the snow melts in the spring. Animal control, there were 2 loose dogs that were looked after and 5 cat traps that were handed out, and 2 assists by RCMP this month. And like mentioned earlier, one of the that was referred from our CSO to the RCMP ended up with charges being laid in relation to stolen merchandise. Moving on to the RCMP, The incidents were down this month to 120 as compared to last month of 160, but up from November of 2024, we've had 112. Traffic charges were down this month, 12 compared to last month of 32, and down from November of 2024 of 22. There were 7 false alarm reports, up from last month of 3, but down from November of 24. And then the last 2 pages are just the listing of the false alarms as well as the policing statistics for November. And if there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Thanks, Mike. Any questions or comments for the director on this? Go ahead, Councilor Rowe.
It's not a question you can answer, Mr. Kwasnika, but if you can contact the RCMP, I'm looking at the other category, suspicious vehicles, animal calls, missing person well-being check, up from 9 to 22. So just you probably can't delineate which kinds of calls those were, but it just seemed like a rather large leap in numbers of calls answered. So I'm just curious if there's any more information we can get on that. An email is fine. And
yeah, I will have a conversation with the staff sergeant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Call all in favor? Thank you. Okay, next up, we have the city controller's report. I need a mover that this report be accepted for information on file. Councilor Sirmacheski, thank you. Go ahead, Jace. Floor is yours.
Thank you. So now that we're in December, administration's preparing for the 2025 year end. So that'll be coordinating some system year end updates, as well as preparing for the city's auditors who will be on site here later next week. Now that the 2026 budget has been passed, the tax assessor is proceeding with calculating the resulting increase for the TIPS program. Anybody who is enrolled in that can anticipate to see their monthly withdrawals increase here in January, just to reflect what that increase was. Corporate Services is evaluating a human resources portal. So this is just to hopefully clean up some of our payroll processes and create some efficiencies and overall some accuracy on that end of things. And then lastly, just this is kind of the last time that I'll be bringing you the updates from Corporate Services. Now that Lori's back, she'll be bringing this forward to you guys in her report monthly. So I just wanted to touch on that as well. Attached to this report is the budget actual report, which we'll be bringing to you monthly here. So new this month, anything with a variance of 35,000 or more has been listed. There is the bylaw and policing, the RCMP. This was mentioned as a part of the budgeting process, just due to some vacancies. It is in a favorable position. This will remain throughout the remainder of the year and likely into the new year. Hopefully that our budgeting process for 2026 will start to clean that up. And then the other new one is snow and ice control. That's in a favorable position just due to some of the lack of snowfall that's happened throughout the early portion, as well as the date here in the fall. If anybody's looked at the forecast, that's could be changing by the end of the year, but we are quite favorable there right now. Anything else has been continued on from previous months and has been mentioned on. Attached to this report is the full budget to actual report, as well as the payment listing and the credit card statement. And I can take any questions on either of those.
Or thanks, Jace. Any questions or comments for the director? I guess seeing none, I'll call a motion and all in favor. It's scary. Thank you. All right, next up, we have the Director of Cultural Services. I need a mover that this report be accepted for information and files. Councilor Sirmacheski, thank you. Go ahead, Jennifer. Floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So beginning over at the museum, you'll see that we have our new exhibit, Animals in Winter, that is now on display, and we're doing school programs and have very active participation from the schools in the area. So we're pleased with that. I've given you information on Moonlight Madness, which was very busy for us. It was really good to see so many people downtown and visiting the museum. Of course, Santa is back at the museum. And so we're just, apparently we had over 100 people on the first visit on Saturday, and also doing our sensitive Santa, because we know that that is something that the public has really asked for. And we're doing something new. We're doing pets. And so in the last time, they're not coming into the museum. We could not go that far, but we are going to do pictures with pets on the steps. So we have had that request. We'll see if it's useful, like, for the community, and we're thankful for our Santas for being very good sports. So collections work, I've provided you with the information about what's going on with collections, and also just a thank you to John Trod and Frank Lloyd. These are two gentlemen from Moose Jaw who actually come. We had challenges with the clock stopping. I think it was when it was really getting warm and you'd have some freezing rain, and they would kind of the face of the clock, something would get stuck there. And so they come up here at no cost to us except for their mileage and a lunch. They love these tower clocks. There's very few in Saskatchewan, and so they have really worked with us to do some maintenance issues, and we're really thankful for that. And hopefully that will keep us through the winter. And one other thing that I didn't have in this report because I didn't have the numbers. So the exterior work that we did on the museum, so that masonry work that we did came in under budget, as I mentioned. So we ended up, rather than the 108, we spent $90,000, and I just got the money confirmed for the grant. So we submitted our grant, and we will get $45,000 back. So really good. Michael has that kind of as part of his, but he didn't have those numbers because I just got them. So really good news there for the work that we've done at the museum. Over at the gallery, so the Friends Festival auction just finished last Thursday. We are still wrapping everything up. We believe right now we're looking at just over $10,000 raised. So all of that money will go back into community programming. They fund the concert series, they fund kids programming. All that money just goes right back into community programming. So we're really thankful for everybody who donated to that festival. The gallery is now closed. So we go into carpet cleaning, waxing of the floors, painting of the walls. So everything is moved over to the museum. So we'll be closed for a while just to get everything refreshed for the new year. You'll see at the water tower, and this will be the first thing we kick off in 2026, Jen Reimer, who is our musician from Montreal, is coming. She is going to do a 2-month installation at the gallery for whatever she has been doing. And I have been very clear that I don't completely understand what the resonances are. She has created a CD that she is going to be selling of the sounds of the water tower. And she is coming in to install, she's flying in. And so we're doing an opening on Sunday, January 4th. And I understand that that's not usually always the best time to do it, but she is basically coming to visit relatives and flying back, and we don't have the costs to provide her with flight to help her with the flight. So we're going to work with what works with her schedule. So I do invite you for that afternoon. We're still working on a time, but I think it'll be a great way to understand what it is that she's been doing at the tower for the last few years. Original Hamilton Public Art, you've got the information there. And administratively, we're just wrapping things up and doing all that year-end data gathering that all of our grants provide. So we have applied for 2 years of funding through the Museum Grant Program. We were successful in our federal grant Museum Assistance Program. So we have a very large exhibit called Taste of Science that's going to be opening in January. And I think out of the $4,000 cost that it cost to bring in, we got $3,500 of that through that grant. So that's been very helpful. You'll see our volunteers continue to support us. We're really thankful. Another 108 hours just this month. And our engagement numbers, this is to the end of November. And I believe this will be the highest attendance and engagement that we've had for the department. So 2025 is wrapping up really well. And I will field any questions you may have.
Thanks, Jennifer. Any comments or questions? During the report. Yes, seeing none, I'll call the motion and all in favor. That is. Okay, next up, we have Marketing Development Manager's report. We need a mover that this report be accepted for information and filed. Councillor Rowe, thank you. Go ahead, Jared. Floor is yours.
Good evening. From the development standpoint, I've been working with Bluestone Builders Group in Northridge on progressing their servicing agreement. I have offered support to Uptown Builders The parking lot purchase from MMP was successful, and the contract on the old hospital site is to become permanent ending on December 15th, 2025, and will be closing on January 15th, 2026 if no further delays arise from CMHC. As a note, the developer's already begun entering the permitting process. From an economic development standpoint, we're exploring some opportunities to establish a motocross track in the area and I've initiated preliminary discussions with the potential proprietor. The project could attract significant tourism and provide local enthusiasts with a safe and dedicated space to ride. The city has also been invited to have an expose done on the community by Business View magazine. This magazine offers a reach of 890,000 and targets government, developers, and Fortune 500 companies throughout Canada and the US. From miscellaneous, I've initiated research into innovative land development models aimed at enhancing community benefits by offering a broader range of lifestyle options. I'm exploring alternative strategies to stimulate development. Current incentives are provided to new home construction, but none exist for land development. To increase the availability of building lots, it is essential to introduce measures that encourage land development. A response to Walnut Grove will be provided in our next regular council meeting, and I can field any questions.
Good. Thanks, Jared. Any comments, questions for the director? Go ahead, Councilor Rowe.
I'm curious about the motocross thing. I used to ride motocross, and kind of we carved our own little area out of the town where I grew up. But will this be a track or just a space to ride the bike? Do you have any idea at this point? Probably not, but you never know.
So it's pretty early stages right now. I mean, ultimately, the proprietor would be looking to do SMA events. So that would be full on track events. So you'd have races and stuff like that there. And then also would support the local community. So if they were just out riding, they could go and use it as well. We're currently looking for some space outside of the city boundaries. So, but the proprietor is from Humboldt himself. So just currently working with him, and hopefully we can come up with a solution so we can bring this track to the community. I think it would be a good fit out here. So
the bikes are a little loud, so not inside the city would be good.
Yeah, we don't want to keep the residents up in town, so we want to get it just enough outside but close enough so everybody still wants to come to Humboldt. So
excellent, thank you. Keep us posted.
Will do.
Thank you. All right, any other questions, comments? See none, I'll call motion. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Right, next up, we have the communication coordinator's report. And I guess in their absence, Jared, you're doing the report, are you? All right, she's back at her for you. Well, I guess I need a mover for the acceptance file for Mayor Mitch. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Jared.
All right, so from the marketing coordinator, the 2024 annual report was completed and updated onto the website. The Santa Claus Parade, Mayor and Council took part in the parade. The 2026 approved budget was released to the media. Angie's been busy promoting the annual Christmas tree lighting at Civic Park and planning and promotion of the Humboldt Holiday Trail at the campground. She hosted a holiday trail sponsor night. Feedback was very positive and sponsors enjoyed the evening. Humboldt Holiday Trail opened to the public Friday, December 5th and runs each weekend in December as well as December 22nd and 23rd. Admission is $10 per vehicle with proceeds going to the community group working at the gate. We have 27 sponsors of the trail and 11 community groups volunteering at the gate this season. And on opening weekend, there was over 100 vehicles through the holiday trail. The annual community tree lighting took place on Thursday, December 4th. Thanks to members of council for handing out hot chocolate. And I can field any questions.
Okay, thanks, Jared. Comments, questions regarding the report? Okay, seeing them, I'll call the motion on. Scary, thank you. Sure. Okay, moving along here. Next up is Director of Leisure Services report. I need a mover that this report be accepted for information and filed. Councillor Scott, thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks very much. So the Growing Canada Community Canopies Program, administration has submitted their pre-application to FCM for this program. We received a response saying that we're good to go ahead with the full application. We are working with a consultant through FCM And then there's some funding, a pre-budgets or pre-application funding that's available to get some assistance on the application. So we're working with them. We're expecting to submit the full complete application in mid-January. The project will strengthen our long-term urban forestry and is funded at 90% of eligible costs, and the remaining 10% can be in-kind staffing costs. So we can receive funding up to $175,000 for that to help with our urban forestry. So that's a fantastic program that we'll hopefully be able to take advantage of. I'm not going to go into detail on all the things in my report, but I will highlight a few. Outdoor rink ice installation is underway. St. Dominic is a little bit further along than the new Jacob Light one at the Uniplex Centennial Park grounds there. Park staff are working diligently to get that. This little bit of snowfall is not going to help, but the park supervisor is motivated and we'll be getting that done as soon as possible. And then we'll communicate that out as soon as we have open dates for that. Billbrook Park. This is just one I wanted to highlight. A neighborhood group has approached the city about creating a seasonal outdoor rink and in the Billbrook Park, just a small skating area for the residents there to be able to utilize. We like the initiative. We like the community neighborhood recreation opportunities ideas. So we're still funding through the SAS Lotteries grant, providing some funding for temporary boards that they have already set up out there. And then they'll be grabbing some water from the standpipe at St. Dominic's rink to help them get that process started. So we're excited anytime we can have community groups wanting to do projects like this. And we're not the ones maintaining it, they're maintaining it, is fantastic. Uniplex air movement. So we had some issues previously that we talked about with the air movement and temperature in the main lobby at the arena. We did have a company out to take a look at it, and they did find 2 issues that we've since remedied, and our conditions have significantly improved. So that is fantastic. Staff will continue to monitor to make sure that the issues don't come back. But it was just tweaks to the air handling unit and the exhaust fans in the change room that were the culprits there. Humboldt District Community Services. I just want to highlight the work. We partner with the Humboldt District Community Services work crew over the last couple of years, and they bring out individuals who help us kind of keep our parks clean. So they responded thanking us for the partnership and letting us know that they collected 249 bags of garbage, which apparently fills 2 full-size React garbage trucks. So a lot of garbage picked up within our parks and our ditches and everything. So thank you to them. And then just a note, security cameras that we have at Wateridge Park. I think we've mentioned a few times we've been having issues with their ability to read some of the license plates, especially at night. So we are going to be trialing cameras through a different company. Just the cameras themselves, they've shipped out. They'll be covering the cost of install and trial for us to see if the cameras are better quality, and we might end up going with those down the road. But yeah, so if you see anyone out there changing the cameras out there, that's what they're doing. If there's any questions, anything else in my agreement. Oh, I should note, collective bargaining did start today with the QP union. So Jace, Jennifer and myself met all day today, and then we've got 2 more half-day meetings planned for Thursday and Friday. So and the discussions were really good, so we're hoping we can have get that wrapped up in the early new year as well. Thanks. Any questions?
Any questions, comments? Well, Councilor Rowe.
A couple of comments to start, I guess, and a question. First of all, that Bill Breck thing, that's really cool. I remember when our kids were younger, they did that over at Carl Shen, and there was definitely lots of people in the community that accessed that. So
Excellent.
well done, everyone involved there. Also, the Humboldt and District Community Services work group, well done, and congratulations to that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then the question on page 44 of our agenda or package, item number 11, the Canadian Parks and Recreation Association's Forward Together Summit and Day on the Hill. Given the fact that we need infrastructure here in this regard, I was wondering if there's a key takeaway or insight that you can share with council from that. Maybe not tonight, maybe through an email or something. But
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can definitely give a couple highlights. So as far as on the infrastructure side of things, it's very clear when we were at these meetings. There's individuals from across the country. Infrastructure is huge. Infrastructure is an issue everywhere. Everyone's recognizing that their infrastructure that was largely built in the 60s and 70s is coming due for refrigeration or renewal. There was a lot of discussion on the pros and cons of trying to renew the buildings that we have in the inventory rather than trying to all build new everywhere. Had a couple of good discussions with a couple MPs about that, among other things, and infrastructure is obviously a large priority at the federal level. but obviously focused on the housing now. So the Day on the Hill, we're advocating a big push was helping the federal government MPs to understand the whole community concept, and that you can build all the houses you want, but if you don't have recreation infrastructure, parks, spaces, things of that nature, then they're not great communities, right? So there was a push there, and I think they recognized the importance of that and the importance of parks and things of that nature. So it was really good. It was an opportunity for me to network and bring back a lot of information. So I'm happy to share that over the course of the next few months and different projects. So I'll refer back to this experience multiple times.
So thanks for the insight, Mr. Alderson, and thanks for pushing that agenda forward.
You bet.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is scary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Mike again. We have Director of Community Leisure Services Project Summary Report. Can I get a mover to accept this report for information and file? Mayor Minch, thank you. Go again, Mayor Head Mike.
Perfect. So I'll just highlight a couple of the projects on here that I've updated in yellow. Bill Breck Park Playground Development. So that project is officially completed. They finalized that and submitted all the finances. So I believe that's completed on that end as well. So that's fantastic. We'll look at doing a grand opening of sorts in the spring once the snow's gone and we can have an actual reopening of that park, so to speak. Museum roof repairs, as Cultural Services Director had mentioned, the project totals have come in just slightly higher than the number I have with Jennifer's update. So the total costs were around $90,000, but half of that was covered through the grant funding. So the net cost is just over $45,000 for that project. So that freed up a little bit to cover some of the unexpected building costs that came up throughout the year. ISO Servicer, so that purchase has been completed. We've formalized the order for that piece of equipment. The next step will be to look at selling off one of our existing units. We do have some interest from one community that has similar needs to ours. So one of our units would match there. We've also reached out to the Big Hill, who we purchased through, who supplies the Olympia, which is what we'll be looking to sell off, to get some idea on what the used market would be and what their offer would be and whatnot. So we'll get a better idea as to the value of the units that we currently have. And then the asbestos abatement, I just noted, we're slowly picking away at that. My staff are hoping to get back in there this week to do a little bit more. I'm optimistic, losing optimism that we'll be able to get it all done before Christmas. But they've made a huge dent in it this year, and it's just a matter of getting us back in there over the next little bit to get it done. But they will try and see how much more they can get done this week. We've got just, I think, two and a half rooms left in the basement. So a good chunk of it's done, and it'll be nice to have that project off the books too. If there's any questions on this or any other projects, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Go ahead, Mayor Minch.
Asbestos abatement, does that involve just installation on pipes? Is that what that is? Or is it floor tile, or what are we doing there?
So at the museum, it was largely pipe. Almost all of the work is pipe. And then we also created in the old boilers that were in the basement. Those are high risk. So for us to be able to remove those is just not practical. And obviously given the size of them. So in that case, they were all the piping was removed from them. They were wrapped up and then created in a wooden box and labeled. So those will be just abandoned in place, but secured. And then the rest is just all the piping that's running through the building that's got asbestos on it. So mostly it's being clean sections cleaned, wrapped, and then cut. And then that pipe's getting removed from the building. So
the old system then?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Abandoned stuff that's
Abandoned
just
stuff.
been in place. So yeah, we're ripping it out and not having to replace with new, just getting rid of the asbestos material.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions, comments, the director? You know, I'll call the motion on. That is scary. Thank you. All right, next we're on to new business. First up, we have a recommendation from the Director of Corporate Services and City Clerk regarding the Executive Committee and Council meeting schedule. Can I get a mover to accept this report? Councilor Rowe, thank you. Lori, I think you're taking this one, eh? Thank you.
Thank you. So in 2019, council passed the procedure bylaw that established the meeting schedule for the executive committee and council meetings for the month. The second Monday of the month being executive and the fourth Monday being a council meeting. Any change to that schedule requires a council resolution. So the current situation is you will see that the 2026 meeting schedule is put before council. So the key changes for this year are the executive committee meetings for April and June were rescheduled to accommodate for the attendance at SUMA and FCM convention. The October meeting was scheduled for the Tuesday following the statutory holiday of Thanksgiving week, Monday. In December, the executive committee meeting is set for the first Monday, and the special council meeting is set for the second Monday to replace the regular council meeting that falls during this holiday season. The 2027 budget deliberations are set for November the 30th, and that will be the day you begin budget deliberations. It just seems like we just got done with this one. We could talk about the next one. So the schedule is made to accommodate for conventions, statutory holidays, and to work around the holiday season. And I can take any questions or concerns.
Excellent. Don't have any questions or comments? Regarding this, okay, see then I'll call the motion, all in favor. As well, thank you. Okay, next up. We have recommendations from the Director of Public Works regarding the airport authority creation. I guess I need to move it, administration be authorized to proceed with the establishment of the Humboldt Municipal Airport Authority. Mayor Mish, thank you. Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you. So over the past several years, there's been extensive discussions with regards to the Humboldt Aerodrome. In conclusion, it was agreed that we should create an airport authority. And attached to this report, you will see a draft bylaw, which essentially lays out high-level plans for an airport authority, which includes 7 members of a board, a member of council, and a few other high-level items in there as to how the authority will be formed. What will come out of this, once members are selected and chosen and approved by council, is the creation of an operations agreement. And the operations agreement will lay out the details that need to be established, including the fuel systems, the maintenance, the mowing, the building maintenance, and so forth. And that will take place once a board is actually made, and then we can establish who does what. The city does this, the authority does that. So in this high-level bylaw, as noted, it will consist of 7 individuals. 3 of the members must be residents of the city of Humboldt. Up to 3 may be from the aviation or aerospace industries or the surrounding region. A council member will be appointed to the authority. And then in that person's place, the city manager or the director of public works can attend the meetings in the absence of the council members. As noted, all members are appointed by council. All budget decisions are finalized by council because we do apply for the CAP grants, the Canadian Airport Partnership grants. So we will be involved in that process for sure. The main intent of this airport authority is really to let's see here. Oh, I had it here and it slipped out of my way. Well, I'm just gonna go with what I know. Essentially, they're gonna help grow the airport. We're gonna try to expand, or they're gonna try to expand if they have personal interests and commercial interests to see if they can make the airport grow, take on new clients, new people with hangars, new aerial applicators, recreational flyers, things like that. There's always been interest of runway extension. There's been interest of building a commercial area for aerial applicators. There's been a lot of different ideas and concepts that have been brought forward from the local airport group and such. So they'll be searching for different funding streams, either internally or externally. They'll be searching for a bunch of alternatives to what the city has progressed in the past or different initiatives that will progress the airport in a positive manner. So there are quite a few different details in the actual bylaw or proposed bylaw. And in this step, it's just simply a recommendation to take it forward to the next council meeting, and council will make that decision at that time. I'll take any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Any comments? Go ahead, Council Rowe.
Ms. Berquist, I hope you know how appreciative I am of all the work you've done on this and everyone else involved. This is definitely something that I've seen grow a lot over the last 8 months or so, or whatever we've been talking about it. So again, thank you to yourself and everyone involved. If you could pass that along to any committee meetings, that'd be great. I guess this maybe could be deferred until we are actually talking about the bylaw. But if you could comment maybe quickly, population sizes, Moose Jaw to Humboldt, quite a bit of difference. And so I guess the only thing I might be concerned about is in section 3, where we're talking about the constitution of the committee and will there be enough volunteers and enough people willing to serve on the committee. So maybe it's more of a regular council meeting discussion rather than talking about it tonight, but what the heck, why don't we ask the question? What are your thoughts there?
It's a very good question. So we were bouncing between 3, 5, 7. More than that, no. 7 members. What we were concerned about is we can likely find 5, but we do want to have a council member on this board. So 7 seemed like the right number for the interested members that want to participate. Now, they don't necessarily need to be current people that have, they don't need to have leases at the airport. They can be interested in the industry or in the region, I should say. So we're hoping to fill the 7 positions or 7 board positions, but if we get 5, then at least we can have, I guess, a majority to vote at the different board meetings. And there would be essentially 4 meetings per year. So, but that is a very good question. Moose Jaw did have 7 in theirs as well, and we stuck with 7, but we were bouncing between 5 and 7. In my earlier drafts, I did have 5, but it did feel a little bit too few for making decisions on this authority.
It does seem like with it not necessarily having to be someone who currently has a plane or hangar or so on, that there would be more likely to fill in those positions. So I appreciate the answer.
Okay, go ahead, Councilor Scott.
Just wondering about, I think from the very beginning, one of the concerns that you had expressed to us was that we really don't necessarily have the expertise to be managing this. And so I just wondered about whether or not there would be an opportunity to ensure that there's somebody with that expertise that's a member, even if it means that there's a necessity for compensation, but to have somebody that's involved in the committee to be providing some direction. I don't know if you see any value in that or whether or not you feel that this would adequately give us that sort of coverage.
I think with the members that are currently out there, we're going to have a very good interest. So the members that know the industry well can provide council that confidence in that the sense that what they're providing for information will be well thought through and thorough. I'm quite confident that we'll achieve that with the people that are likely going to apply for these board positions. And with the engineering side of the Public Works Department, will provide the more technical side of information that they may need for the runway assessments and things like that. We'll still provide. Will be of assistance to them. But when it comes to regulation, when it comes to what other airports are doing, when it comes to defining revenue, I think these board members are going to be key.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mayor Minch.
I guess going back to point number 3 on there about the individuals on the board. So I'm assuming we'll just go like we do with all our other boards and in January, put the word out that we're looking for members and see what comes in. Maybe we could reword that when the final bylaws drafted, similar to what we have for the Bronco Memorial Committee, where it says up to 7 members as opposed to 7 members. That way, I know, like right now, we're running with that committee 1 or 2 members short, but at least it's still a functioning board, and it just mentions that. So that might be something to consider there. So, I guess, like I say, we'll just have to put the word out and make sure that people that may want to be on that board are notified and have a chance to move forward and help. So, yeah.
That's a very good add. I
Yeah.
think we will add that in there and
So my take from this is advisory committee, council will still have the final say on what's completed there if there's, especially if there's city money involved, I guess. So, which I think is going to be a win-win for everybody. So, thank you for all your work on that.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions for Pete? Okay, I'll call the motion. All in. That's scary. Okay, next up, we have a recommendation from the Director of Public Works on the 2026 water and sewer rates. I need a mover that the Executive Committee recommend to City Council that the amendments to the water and sewer rates bylaw as attached. Councillor Scott, thank you. Go ahead, Peter.
thank you. So as the approved 2026 budget was passed, there was a note in there regarding a utility rate increase of 5.19%. The senior leadership group here met and determined that we should place more of the onus onto the sewer base rates, as we do have significant costs with regards to the water and waste, or sorry, the wastewater treatment facility that's being constructed here. So the increases are going to mostly affect the sewer consumption rates and the sewer base rates. And there's going to be very minimal increase to the water consumption and water base rates. Now, of course, these funds are quite essential for the water main replacements that we have in the city, any type of sewer main repairs or cleaning that we have to do, lift station repairs, and the 2 lift stations that we're currently rebuilding that will have some debt. So some of this will go towards the payments of those. And then, as noted, the wastewater treatment facility. In this report, there is the proposed rates as well as a comparison from 2025 to 2026 and the existing sewer rates. The average property will see between a 3.87 and 4.26 overall increase because once we factor in on a typical utility bill, once we factor in that there is the waste carts and recycling carts and then the storm levy, those 2 aren't changing at this point. So when you factor everything in there, the average bill will see between 3.87 and 4.26. This change we'll see about, let's say for an average family, about $8.64 per month increase to the utility bill. It'll create additional revenue of about $258,000 per year, and will go a fairly long way to help our utility continue to improve and replace old infrastructure. I will take any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Questions or comments regarding? Go ahead, Mayor Mitch.
And I think with the rates that are indicated here, like you mentioned, the brunt of it is the sewer and sewer base rate, sewer consumption rate increases, and that's something we're aware of because of the new facility that we need to cover the costs of, and I think it's one of those things where the water consumption is at 2% increase, so that's I think a little easier to swallow. But I mean, it's the when we're communicating out to the public that this utility rate is basically the sewer rates, and that's going to help us pay for that $40 million project we have out there, and I'm hoping that that project's in place, it's gonna allow the city to grow over the years, and by growing, you're getting more houses and more development and more taxes being paid. So those numbers are gonna be spread out over, over more people in the future. But unfortunately, at this point, we have to look at paying for this like right now. So yeah. So I think and I'm going to mention it a little bit in the inquiry section, but I think we need to get that information out to the public, so that they know the reasoning behind some of this stuff that we're doing, and when we're setting our budgets and our rate increases, that we do it with a lot of thought, and staff puts a lot of work into these things to make sure that it's something that's necessary.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Mitch. Any other comments, questions? I'll call the motion. All in favor? That carried. Thank you. Okay, moving along here, we're into inquiries. Any inquiries for the directors? Go ahead, Councillor Scott.
One, I guess, thing that I've been a bit concerned about has been how we are managing alarm responses for city buildings. And I guess what concerns me is that I think in the past, there's been an expectation that we could rely on some RCMP support in certain circumstances. We know that because we've got sort of checkered coverage right now, that's not a given. We have some situations where, as I understand it, single staff are receiving those calls. That concerns me from a working alone perspective. We have people traveling from outside the city limits to respond to these calls. Because that's a requirement of the job, they're in the course of employment while they're doing that. And therefore, that's a city risk that we need to be addressing. So I guess I'm just wondering what adjustments can or have been made with respect to how these alarm responses are handled that would improve safety for our staff.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I can take that one. As you'll remember in the budget meetings we had on the first, we got funding to fill our billing manager position again. Through discussions with administration, one of the first tasks for the billing manager will be reviewing all city buildings and how we do security where there's cameras, entrance, locks, things of that nature. So that'll be addressed right away when that position is filled early in the new year, because we do know that's been an issue. I think right now cultural services is largely the only one that's actually got active security monitoring. Probably some public works, alarms and stuff like that for equipment, but not the buildings themselves. So it requires a review. So yes, we will be looking at that early in the new year.
Thanks, Mike. Any other inquiries? Go ahead, Mayor Mitch.
I did allude to this before, and I'm just wondering, with the budget, I know we did put a press release out, and I've been poking around with other cities after they've released their budgets, and I wonder if we can task administration to look at doing a one-pager or something, maybe a little more than a press release that we have put out, just outlining some of the things in the budget, some of the things we're going to be doing in a positive note. When the media puts the increases in there, and that's what people focus on, I think. And I'd like to say again some of the reasoning behind that. The water treatment plant is the one that I keep going back to, but we've added a position out there, and probably another. I think I did some rough numbers here. They're near $70,000 in increased utilities and supplies and that kind of stuff there too. So you tally those two together, and you're pushing just about a 2% tax increase right there. And things like the $150,000 reduction in interest payments that we're getting with our reserve money. So, those types of things, I think that, if you factor all that in there, probably was only a 1 to 2% increase, but I guess just getting that out to the public, I think would be beneficial. And then just focus on some of the things we're doing, like we're spending a lot of money on fixing roads and all that other stuff. And I think the more we can let the public know that that's what we're doing, I think it's better. So if we can just maybe do that, and then if we can get it out through our communications people, maybe it's something that 2 or 3 staff members need to kind of get together on, but at least we can get that message out to the public. And then if we want to share it on social media or whatever, that we can get it out there. So it seems like it's hard to get the message out to the public these days. So unless it's a negative story, people tend not to notice it, I guess, as much. So that's, I guess I would appreciate if we could do something like that. So if the city manager can maybe answer to that one, please.
Thanks very much. Go ahead, city manager.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman, to the mayor's inquiry. Absolutely, between the city controller and our communications coordinator, I'm sure we can put something together to highlight what again, those projects are that are going to be moving ahead in 2026 will be. And again, some of the facts about why the tax rate and utility rates are where they are. I think council and administration did an excellent job of keeping them within what I would consider to be a tolerable amount. But you're right, for the public, they always question every increase. So we'll see how we can rationalize that for them and provide an explanation.
Thank you, city manager. Any other inquiries for the directors tonight? Seeing none, we will move on to our next meeting is, I guess. What's up?
Could be in there, January the 12th.
January 12th, next executive meeting. Okay. And then I need someone to make a motion to adjourn. Councillor Jorgensen, thank you. All in favor? That is carried.
Just a reminder, staff, or not staff, council on the meeting with the RM council on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And that's